Hey everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Today we combine the delight of a fresh seasonal salad with a southern favorite. Today we're going to be sharing with you our recipe for black eyed pea and bacon salad, or bacon and black eyed pea salad, however you want to say it. I tell you, it is good. Now, Big D and I were talking earlier, and this is a little different. It may be a salad that you're not used to, but it is definitely one that you need to make to take to a party or a church function or something like that, because it is unexpected and it turns out to be a really flavorful salad that people would probably just eat out of curiosity. Very simple ingredients, very fresh ingredients, and it's combined with the hearty black-eyed pea. Now, if you're like me, there's just not a whole lot of things you can do with black-eyed peas. We have another recipe that, glorifies the black-eyed pea in our redneck caviar. So black-eyed peas come from the same family as beans, so they're really pretty versatile. I've seen people make hummus with them. There's all kind of things you can do with them that people just really don't expect, and this bacon and black-eyed pea salad is one of those things. You can eat it as a side and you can also use it as a dip. So we're really excited to share it with you today. And we've got our favorite dressing vessel with us today, which is a ball jar. So you don't need any fancy equipment, and you don't need to run out to the grocery store to get things that you really don't need to make it. So we're gonna start by just fixing up the dressing for it. And it's real easy. You just take about a tablespoon of dark brown or Dijon mustard. And mustard gives it that creamy base, but also a little bit of a tartness that makes it more like a vinaigrette without adding the vinegar portion of it. So the dark brown mustard or the Dijon mustard serves two purposes there. It's good and it's acidic. Then we're gonna put in 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. And I like using minced garlic in salad dressings because it's wet, it has a lot of flavor, and it mixes really good with the acids that you put in it. So it's the perfect accompaniment to any kind of salad dressing. And I apologize, I've been sneezing today, so I have an eternal frog in my throat. So you might hear me clear my throat a little bit today, and I apologize for that. So to this, now we're gonna add a good amount of salt and pepper. Now, I don't give a lot of measurements for salt and pepper because you can just as easily use a salt replacement if you're watching your sodium intake. So you do salt and pepper to fit your dietary needs and your flavor profile. But typically a good general rule of thumb for salt and pepper is about a half a teaspoon of salt or salt substitute and about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So, but I like to just tell folks to just do it to taste. That way you don't get too much and you have control over how much of each goes in your recipe. So we've added, for us, about a half a teaspoon of salt and about a 1/4 teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. Now to this, we're gonna give our bacon and black-eyed pea salad just a tiny little bite. And this is one of those ingredients that you can totally leave out, but it just adds a little something special, and that's cayenne pepper. And I would not recommend putting any more than about an 1/8 or a 1/4 teaspoon of that in there, because cayenne can be very strong and can be overpowering. So if you have people that don't love hot and you just want a little bit of spice in there, a little goes a long way. So we like to keep it at that. And then we're gonna add in our emulsifier, which is our olive oil. And we're gonna do about 3 tablespoons of that. And I like to measure this out because you want your dressing to be good and balanced. So we're gonna put that in there. And then we're gonna add in another acid, which helps kind of break down the olive oil, and one that's just a good generic, and that's lemon juice. It can be fresh squeezed or it can be out of the bottle like we have here. And we're gonna add about 1.5 tablespoons. in there for that. And the lemon juice is not only an acid that kind of helps break the dressing down, but it also serves another purpose in the fact that you add to the freshness of the vegetables that go into the salad. So it works really well to have that in there, and then we just pop that lid on and then we just shake it up. And then you have just the perfect amount of dressing. Now you can make this ahead of time and keep it in the refrigerator. You can double or triple this recipe and use it on salads. So like a lot of our other recipes, this one can pull double duty. You can use this for other things. This also makes a really good marinade for chicken. So we urge you to kind of check that out. So now that we have our dressing ready, we're gonna show you how to put the salad together. So we're gonna start with 1 can, and I used canned black eyed peas. You can get the dried black eyed peas if you like and rinse them, clean them, and then soak them overnight. But the can for this works really good in a pinch. They're cheap, they're easy to find. So we just use 1 14-ounce can of black eyed peas, and we rinse them really well, and we drain them, and we put them in a nice little mixing bowl. And then to that, we have about 6 slices of bacon that I have just chopped up, cooled and drained and chopped up, and we're gonna put that bacon in there. And then just like our other salads, I kind of like to mix as we go. So I'm gonna get that bacon good and mixed in there. And then to that, we have about 1/2 cup of red onion that I have diced pretty thin. And you feel free to use yellow or white onion, or if you're not an onion fan, you can totally leave that out, but the onion just adds a little fresh pop of flavor in there. And onion is always in season, so it just adds a little freshness to it. And I like the red onion because of that pop of purple and the color in it. So then we're going to add in about 1/4 cup, whoops, messy kitchen alert. We're gonna add 1/4 cup of diced fine celery. And I'm gonna stir that up. And can't you see how pretty that is already? I mean, food is meant to be as pleasing to the eye as it is to our stomach, so it really helps that you have all this color in here, plus it's good for you to eat more colorful vegetables. So now we're gonna add in 1/2 cup of chopped bell pepper. If you don't love bell pepper, you can substitute with another type of pepper. Jalapeno is also really good in this, and you could totally use it de-seeded or with the seeds to give it the spice you need, and then leave the cayenne out of the dressing. So like normal, we like to show you recipes that can be modified. This just gives you a buildable, workable recipe with a lot of ingredients that you might not have once expected. So now to this, we're going to pour our dressing over the top. And it's just got a beautiful color, and you smell that garlic. It's not too much. Minced garlic is close to fresh. So I know 2 tablespoons sounds like an awful lot, but it's really not when you're using minced or fresh garlic, because it's not as strong as, say, when you use dried garlic or garlic powder. Like if you use garlic powder in this, you would only want to use about half of what we used in the dressing. So now we're gonna just decorate this up with about 2 tablespoons of parsley, and I like to use dried, and it just makes everything really pretty. Parsley doesn't serve any kind of flavor. It just kind of gives it a little bit of color. So now I would just refrigerate this for a little while and let all those flavors come together, and then serve it just like this in a big serving dish, just like any other salad that you would have as a side on your Sunday lunch table or on your Tuesday night table. It really doesn't matter. This is also really good as a dip, so you could get some of those Scoops chips, and this would be really good that way with some chips or some flatbreads that you've cooked until warm. The differences in temperature between eating this with something warm is almost as good as the texture differences. So you have the fresh vegetables, you have the black eyed peas, and they just come together into this beautiful explosion when you eat them. Not to mention, the recipe for the dressing for this is one that can be used for all kind of things. So my food challenge for you this week is to step out on a limb and try an ingredient like black eyed peas and use them in a fashion which is not necessarily traditional. You might come up with something great, just like this bacon and black eyed pea salad. So as usual from the Buttered Home, we like to get you thinking about your food and get you thinking about how you can get in the kitchen and make something that becomes an heirloom recipe for you and your family. And we hope that you enjoy what we're doing here. So much so that if you haven't already, that you have hit the subscribe button here over at YouTube, or if you have subscribed to our other social media channels at Facebook and Instagram. We would love to have you on all three, and visit our website at thebutteredhome.com. We have recipes like this one, plus so much more that take wonderful, basic, Southern ingredients and turn them into something beautiful, and so that you can take them and make them your own. That's the business that we're in here at the Buttered Home. So stay tuned, we've got lots more coming. We hope that you'll join us next week, and as usual, from the Buttered Home to your home, we love y'all. Bye.